Holy shit, I just recorded a whole thing and didn't even know I was recording. Hi, welcome back to No Worries If Not, episode 5. Guys, not a successful week for the pod. Not a really successful week for me, but also, yes, a successful week for me. Confusing. Yes. No worries. A little bit of housekeeping out the gate. This is going to be episode 5. We're going to scrap the 2 episodes I filmed yesterday. 2 episodes I filmed yesterday. I'll say it one more time. 2 episodes I filmed yesterday. Housekeeping. These are now on streaming platforms. Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts. I think I have not confirmed that, and a bunch of other places. But that I didn't understand. We're going old school. I'm simply holding the microphone today because I have a headache. Right, let's get into the 2 episodes yesterday. So I recorded 2 episodes yesterday. I recorded one 44 minutes long. We're 44 minutes in, and I stop and I go, "This is bad, and I don't like it." And I turn my camera off and I walk away. Very professional, very, and maybe there was something savable, but now it's completely tainted the whole episode for me, so that's actually not going to be posted anywhere ever. And then about 2 hours later, go, let's give this another whack. And I record about 40 minutes, but I just know editing it down, it would have been about maybe 30. And the energy was low, and I was kind of feeling a little bit depressed because the world is ending more than it ever has been before. No worries. And so, just out the gate, want to say, fuck ICE. I'll just say that. I don't want to talk about it. The thing that I think this show is and what I want it to be, and because that's what I watch, is an escape from the fact that the world is ending. But unfortunately, it's getting harder and harder to escape the fact that the world is ending. And so, that's what I'll say on that. But my energy might be a little bit, it might be a little different because the world's actually quite literally ending. And everyone, anyway, I'm just going to check. I feel like my camera is filthy. So if for that whole, intro bit, my camera was filthy. I've had a travel day today, guys. This is another reason why the podcast was maybe a bit harder to film yesterday, because I've been at my best friend's house, Georgia, for the past 4 days. I arrived on Wednesday and it's Saturday today, so I was there Wednesday. Yep, that's maps. And so I was trying to record it at George's house, and I think whenever I have longer than 2 days off work, my whole body just kind of goes dead, and so I just kind of had no brain, no thoughts, no nothing, and so I just was, nothing was actually coming out of my mouth. And I also had this thing where I had something I wanted to talk about, which I will touch on today, but I'm just not going to give it anywhere near as much time, which was something I wanted to talk about. But then as soon as I give myself something I want to talk about, I get so anal about talking about it the right way, which I'm throwing out the window today because I have a headache. And I don't want to, I don't care enough. What I wanted to talk about, which I'll touch on really quickly, is just something I've acknowledged in the past few weeks, in the past few years. I'm an incredible third wheel. I think I was built to be a third wheel. I'm one of the only single people I know. And I mean single in the most single sense. Obviously, not everyone, I've got the full spectrum. I have married friends, I have friends who are in very long-term committed relationships, I have friends who are in new relationships, and I have friends who are in whatevers. And I'm going to be able to slot in to those no matter what, which does mean no one can ever not hang out with me. If you're hanging out with your partner, that's so fine, I'll see you in 10. Everyone knows I can match a vibe, I can match a group, and I've asked multiple of my friends' partners or my friends' whatevers and said, hey, I'm an incredible third wheel, right? And they're like, yeah, you are. I can match a vibe. I think I'm very good at vibe checking. It's a skill I have always possessed. Maybe it's the broken brain. Maybe it's the Gemini rising. Maybe it's the Pisces Mercury. Whatever you will take, I'm good at that. And I just think I'm a really good third wheel. But also it does mean I love being a third wheel. I love feeling like I'm hanging out with my mum and dad and it's my best friends. It does then make me ask myself, I think it might be one of the things holding me back from getting in a relationship, because once I'm in a relationship, I can't third wheel anymore. I have to invite them. And then it's a double date situation. And what if I just want a third wheel? What if I want to hang out with one of my many, many mums and dads? And when I say mums and dads, that doesn't mean it's always men and women. Mum and dad it's just mum and dad. It could be two men, that's mum and dad. It could be two women, that's mum and dad. And who's who depends on the moment. I also have straight friends in straight relationships who are mum and dad, but dad is my best friend and mum is their boyfriend. And that's mum and dad. And if you're watching this, you know exactly who you are. And you guys are mum and dad. No worries. Actually, I think two of you. You guys are mum and dad. But yeah, maybe the reason I don't want to be in a relationship is because then I can't third wheel anymore. And third wheeling does feel like my special skill. Another special skill I have, going to A&E. This is a conversation I've had with many friends because I've been to A&E with them many times. If I bring anything to the table as a friend, it's being a +1 to A&E. I love A&E. Controversial opinion, I've been told. I really do. And don't get me wrong, A&E can be some of the worst moments of someone's life. And it can be really horrible. But I'm really good at finding the thing. I'm finding the fun. I'm finding the fun in a really unfun place. And also, the people watching, are you joking? You have people at their rawest. And sometimes, yeah, that is horrible. And sometimes it's really sad. But I think a skill I have is bringing joy to people who are in those moments. For example, my friend, very, very, very good friend Lou, texted me one time and was like, hey, I need to go to A&E. And it was something that was like bad, but not like, not life or death, just like something bad. And I went, cool, I'll come with. And she was like, no, you don't have to. She shows up at A&E. I'm already there. I got there before her. I have a charger. I have snacks. I have drinks. I say, let's go. We're prepared. Did she have any of the snacks or drinks? No, because she needed to be in A&E. She wasn't feeling great. I, on the other hand, I had snacks, I had drinks, and I'm just a great companion for when you're having to do something long and potentially frustrating. That's what I'm good at. I can make anything a game. I can make anything fun. Long waits don't scare me. Long waits are an opportunity. And also, like, when I took Georgia to A&E one time, me and that paramedic got on like a fucking house on fire, because we did have to go in an ambulance. We got on like a house on fire. We're cracking jokes. Georgia didn't have as much fun because she was, I think, having a very severe kidney infection or something along those lines. Me and a paramedic, honestly, that's a friend for life. And we were singing, we were quoting. It was gorgeous. I just think that there's something about the A&E environment where I thrive. I also was an A&E kid, so it's like a second home to me. I was in A&E, I want to say 7 or 8 times as a kid, from a young age. The first time, okay, Mum, I'm telling this story, but I have to do this disclaimer, because my mother's going to see this. I'm not joking, but I'm a storyteller, and so I'm dramatic. But just immediate disclaimer, my mum did not mean to cause me any physical harm. She would never mean to cause me any physical harm. This was a complete accident, and in my opinion, is really funny. In my mother's opinion, not so much. I don't think she's forgiven herself. But I'm going to be telling it in my way, which is, this is really funny. I was about 2.5 or something. I think that's what Mum says. My mum has a pot of boiling water. And she's like cooking, right? And it's just a pot of boiling water. And I'm sitting in my like high chair, I guess. And she turns around and I have my hand in the bin. And I grab something and I'm like, about to eat the thing from the bin. And she obviously swings around to stop me, but like maybe doesn't let go of the pan. And so then just throws boiling water at me, all down my arm. Which I like to tell. I like to tell the story that I was eating something out of the bin, so my mum threw boiling water on me. Which is not what happened, genuinely. It was a complete accident, and my mum like hates this story so much. But I was fine. I obviously had to go to A&E. But, like, they were like, I think they said I would, like, have scarring. And, like, my mum literally, for the next, like, 10 years, we would go to, my grandparents lived in the south of France. So we would go every summer. And it's obviously really, really hot. And I, like, was wearing long sleeves over where this burn was. And like if factor 50 applied every 10 minutes, like, because they were like, that area's gonna be really sensitive, and you literally wouldn't even know. There's no scarring, there's nothing. I am completely fine, because this is a thing. Being an A&E kid just shows that you bounce back, that you've got resilience, because kids are so malleable. Is that the word? Malleable. Malleable? I think that feels right. Kids, you can do anything to them, they'll bounce right back. Don't test that. Don't test that theory. But this is why kids can fall over and like break bones and whatever, and they'll be fine. They'll be fine. They just bounce. They just literally bounce. Kids bounce off the floor. I think someone said this in like Grey's Anatomy or something. Some fucking doctor show. But kids are just so much more like resilient than adults. I don't know why. But also not. Like, they're also weaker. Like, they can't like lift shit. But they just, I don't know, they bounce back from injuries better. The other one I've got so many. Not long after this, also with my mother, but this wasn't her fault, it was entirely mine. She had gone away for like the first time ever, like without me. And so I was really excited when she got back, and I'm jumping around again. Why did no one know I had ADHD? Of course I'm jumping. I'm literally bouncing off the walls. And I'm jumping on the sofa, and I decide to jump off the sofa. And I don't know if I was doing like a forward roll or something, whatever. But I jump and I kind of dive and just land on a wine glass with red wine in it. And obviously it smashes. And so then I've just got red wine and blood pouring down my face, and I look at my brother, and he's like obviously deeply traumatized. And so now I've got, I don't know if you can see it, this scar here, this scar's actually from jumping headfirst into a corner of a table, which was the next A&E visit. But I got a scar here, and I got one on my eye. This one's from jumping headfirst into a corner of a table. A lot of jumping into things, again. And I didn't get diagnosed with ADHD until I was 19. But I was jumping in and jumping on everything. So, surely, someone should have known. I dropped a shopping trolley on my foot. I had an incident with a scooter, which... Okay. I'm going to tell this story, because I'm not pussy. But it does involve... Trigger warning, this does involve my vagina. Basically, this story is a little bit weird. It was my brother's, I believe, 14th birthday. And I'm in the street playing with my neighbours, as we do. If my brother was turning 14, I would have been 9, I think. Yeah, I would have been 9. I'm playing on a scooter, and I'm squatting on a scooter as one does, as one child does. And I don't know what happened. Something happened. The scooter fell, I fell, but there's momentum, and I kind of scrape along the floor. But the main thing that scraped across the floor was in fact my what did I call it? Fanny? I don't know if I can say that. I don't want to talk about... You got the idea. And I managed to just do something. And so my poor father, I'm in the street screaming, obviously. My poor father comes outside to see his 9-year-old daughter in the pavement bleeding from her, you know. And I do think that I put my parents through it. I put my parents through it. I did. And luckily at that point in time, my dad was smart enough to live about 5 minutes away from the hospital, so he just carried me there. I'm pretty sure he went and got... we were living with someone at the time, and he just went and was like, hey, can I have like a pad? And we just went, okay, like 5, and carried me to A&E. And I remember it was actually really fun, because then I got one of those little syringes for like Calpol, and I drank a Coke with it while my brother got pizza with all of his friends. And I do want to say again, sorry, Jay. Honestly, most of this is just going to be me apologising to my brother. I'm sorry for ruining your 14th birthday by scraping my fanny on the floor. That's a really insane thing to say online. No worries. But that's what happened. What else? Yeah, I dropped a shopping trolley on my foot. That was bad. But, do you want to know the craziest thing? Never broken a bone. Like, not a major one. I broke my tailbone, but everyone does that. I've never had a cast. I had crutches for when I dropped a shopping trolley on my foot, but I 100% didn't need them, because then I went back to school, and we were going on a school trip, and my teacher said, well, if you're on the crutches, you can't go on a school trip, and suddenly I didn't need the crutches anymore. So, gonna argue that maybe I never needed them in the first place. And so, yeah, I was definitely an A&E kid. And so maybe that's why I feel so safe and at home and comfortable in A&E. Because I spent a lot of my childhood there. I also want to say, like, I was doing all this to myself. Like, I was just a very accident-prone kid, which I think makes a lot of sense. But, of course, at one point, my parents were, like, pulled aside by some nurse. And they were like, hey, we're going to have a conversation with you. Because it looked bad. It looked really bad, especially like what? Boiling water poured on me, and I kept hitting my head. I kept jumping into things. But I have to clarify with absolutely, like, full sincerity, this is not a cry for help. I did just keep jumping into things. I was an idiot. And I did drop a shopping trolley on my own foot. It was upside down. It was a big Asda shopping trolley. And I went to, my mum was doing something in the car. And I went, oh, there's this shopping trolley that's upside down. Let me just be a good citizen of the city and flip it up the right way. Dropped it on my foot. No worries. Again, that Asda, really near the hospital. So I pick my moments. But also by this point, that was probably one of the last times I had to go to A&E. My mum, my poor mother. Again, she had to take me to A&E so many times because I just keep throwing myself at things or on things on me or at the pavement. So she carries me into the pharmacy in Asda. I have a lump on my foot the size of a golf ball. She carries me into the pharmacy. This poor woman's like, please, for the love of God, please don't make me go to A&E for like the 6th time. She carries me into the pharmacy and goes, what do you think we should do? And they look at my mother and they go, Dad, so you're going to have to take her to the hospital. But I so get it. I so get it. At that point, and because I live in quite a big city, so the hospital, the A&E's, it's never quick. It's always packed. I will say the children's one, I feel like maybe it wasn't. I don't remember. I don't remember when I graduated from Alex to... Sorry, the Royal Alex is the kids' hospital to... Is it Royal Sussex County Hospital? I don't know. I just know Royal Alex is the kids' one. Because I spent a lot of time there. But yeah, I'm very good in like long waits. I'm very good in long waits in situations where someone is not feeling it. Like if someone's not well, if someone's in a bad mood, any of that. I'm good. And maybe that goes back to the vibe checking and being a good third wheel. I'm a good third wheel to you and whatever is bothering you. I can vibe check both of those things and we'll find a middle and we'll, reevaluate. And I know it might not sound like it. I know when to shut the fuck up. Like, I really do. In those situations, I know when I need to distract. I know when I need to comfort. And I can also very quickly catch on to... And I will usually say, like, do you want me to just leave you alone for a bit? And we'll just sit. And we can listen to something, we can watch something, or you can just do your own thing and I'll do my own thing. Like, I don't know where I got this skill. But it is, and it's not like a... It's something I've noticed. And I've had feedback from... customer reviews from my friends of the show, my friends, who have said, no, this is something I just am good at. It's like, what is it? Something I say at work all the time that Mads clocks is I'll come upstairs and I'll just go write game plan. And it's like a game plan for like the next 5 minutes. And it's like, I'm going to pee, I'm going to eat something, and then I'll go and tell. But I just need to do that. And I think that kind of planning has made me very good at dealing with people in those sort of situations. Does that make any fucking sense? Who knows? I really want to do I might not do this today. I might do this in the next episode because it's just a really fun idea. I might do a full episode where I just do personality tests. Just a full episode of me doing personality tests on BuzzFeed. Or maybe I'll do like the Myers-Briggs test. I've done it before, but I feel like it changes in your life. The last 2 times I've done it, shock horror, I got ENFP. But I'm just intrigued. I think it would be a fun episode to do the test and then also read what it's about and what it is. I just think that would be a really fun thing to do. Let me know. Let me know if you think that would be fun. I think it would be cute. I could use my new MacBook, which is over there, so I'm not going to get it. But I got it, and it's arrived, and it's good. That's what helped me get things on Spotify. You're welcome. Not Spotify. All streaming platforms. Maybe I should should we just do one quiz an episode? I kind of want to do a quiz right now. No, guys. Actually, let me stay on track. What else do I want to talk about? What's been happening in the world other than it ending? Oh, okay, this is dark. This is dark, but I'll make it funny. Well, as funny as you fucking can. They've just we all knew that Trump was involved with Epstein. We all knew. I feel like he's even kind of half admitted it at times. But they've just kind of come out and confirmed actually the severity of it. The severity of it, I believe, literally, recently. I'm pretty sure, let me actually see. An hour ago. He's mentioned more than 3,000 times in the latest release. Do you know what I thought? I was watching, I can't remember what I was watching something. I think it was, Gianmarco Soresi. What's his podcast called? Downtime. Podcast. The Downside, that's it. I was watching that, and they had on Daniel Sloss, and he was talking about the Epstein files and all of that. And they said something which I was like, no, this is actually so true, which is, even, like, we all know, it's there's no denying at this point in time that, like, clearly Trump was with Epstein. I think they were talking about Prince Andrew as well, and they were saying about how he got stripped of his titles, and they were like, was it because of everything he did with Epstein, or was it because he did this other thing? And it was like, probably both. Like, you can't, hide it anymore. But in the US, what's so interesting is, I feel like there's an idea that, like, everything's coming out right now. Like, everything's coming out right now about Trump and, like, intimate details of what he was doing with Epstein. It's not going to change anything. It's not going to change anything. I feel like people aren't understanding, like, the left, if you will, aren't understanding that the right don't fucking care what he did. Maybe not left and right. More specifically, people who are anti-Trump and people who are pro-Trump. The pro-Trump people, like, he's so ingrained into their lives. And it kind of goes back into actually a conversation that I've been having in various ways, which is this, again, goes back to social media. This is very interesting and very scary and very dark. So bear with me. I'm going to try not be too depressed like I was the last 2 episodes. But it's this, like, social media being used to poison people, to absolutely poison people, and these big things like the Trump party and, like, their entire political campaign, and also just, like, Red Pill, Andrew Tate, the really, like, hardcore right-wing side of the internet. They've absolutely perfected poisoning people's minds and how to get into their minds and to make them fear everything that they want them to. Like, they feed on people's fear and they say, no, you're right for feeling this way. And it goes back also to, like, conspiracy theorists, like the conspiracy theory side of the internet, which I'm like, don't get me wrong, I'm partial to a good old conspiracy theory, but I'm talking about, like, the people who believe that, like, 5G is killing us and, like, that sort of thing. And it's like they have found the fucking formula. They found the secret recipe on how to get these people to never look the other way. And it's so sinister and scary. It's really sinister and scary. And so, like, I see all these Epstein stuff coming out and I'm like, great, they're still going to vote for him. I mean, that's a whole other thing. They're still going to vote for him, but it's the same. It goes back to, like, conspiracy theory things. Like, it's an addiction. It's an absolute addiction. It's something that takes over people's entire fucking lives to the point where they lose family, they lose friends, they lose everything, because all that consumes them is these theories and these things, and trying to get people to join them and trying to get people to believe them and to bring them to the fucking light, when it's all just a pile of bullshit. And honestly, this links so nicely into, like, fandom and what I was saying last time about, like, feeling sad for people who are so obsessed and so entangled in a life, in somebody who they don't know. And these two things kind of do, really, really, like, hear me out way, they do coincide, because I think it is, like, they're these like kind of right-wing things are targeting people who feel as though they don't have anything, they need something to believe in. And a lot of it is tied to religion alongside that, because obviously some people then go, like, super, super, super religious, but then also you've got a fucking recipe for success when you're blending your right-wing rhetoric, when you're blending your right-wing, when you are blending your right-wing rhetoric. Red lorry, yellow lorry, red lorry, yellow lorry, red lorry, yellow lorry. Right-wing rhetoric. That's fucked. Never say that again. I can't say right-wing anymore. Good. Right-wing agenda. Let's say that. What was I saying about that? No, they've blended it with religion. And so also now you're praying on people who may be, like, I'm personally not religious, but, you know, I understand that with religion, you can feel as though you're not doing it right. You can feel as though you're losing your faith. You can feel as though you're not religious enough. And so if you have somebody come and say, hey, if you want to be a true Christian, because it is usually Christianity, if you want to be a true Christian, whoa, so I just can't speak. If you want to be a true Christian, you also need to, you know, if you kind of don't like women 100% and you also feel like you're losing your faith in God, join us. Because we hate women and also we're God-fearing men. And I'm like, guys. And then, yeah, then it goes back to adolescence. Adolescence, which was kind of talking about, because it is that the targets, the main targets of these sort of psychological fucking, these psychological tactics that fucking Facebook and these, all of these different groups are using, the main targets are obviously older people who are more susceptible and more gullible, and then also young people who are more moldable. Kind of like Vecna. Can I say that? Kind of like Vecna in Stranger Things. Like, he straight up said it. He said the quiet part out loud. Kids are more moldable. They are more susceptible to believing things that aren't true. Like, what do you mean we all just believe that? Okay, first of all, if you're a kid watching this, if you're a kid watching this and you love Christmas so much, don't listen to this part. I'll tell you when you can come back. But like, we all from birth just believe in Father Christmas. We all just believe it. And everybody, okay, maybe not everybody, I don't know what different cultures do, but at least in my culture and like Western culture, all of us have the same lived experience of believing in Father Christmas. We all have a story for when we found out Father Christmas wasn't real. I don't actually remember the story from when I found out Father Christmas wasn't real, but I do have one for the Tooth Fairy. And the Tooth Fairy, we're just extorting our parents, no worries. But the Tooth Fairy, obviously, you get a little penny or you get some coins under your fucking pillow if you put your tooth under your pillow. First of all, I don't know why that's the setup. Because as parents, you've made it so difficult to get the tooth. It's under the pillow. What if your kid is a really light sleeper? Whatever. That's a whole separate thing. But I remember when I found out the Tooth Fairy wasn't real, because I lost a tooth and I put it under my pillow and I said to my dad before I went to bed, I went, Dad, cannot wait for the Tooth Fairy to come. I've put the tooth under my pillow. I'm going to be rich in the morning. And he's like, absolutely no worries. I then wake up and I look under my pillow and my tooth is still there. And I go to my dad and I go, Dad, the Tooth Fairy didn't come last night. And my dad, without even breathing, goes, fuck. And I go, oh, okay, so the gig is up. So yeah, that's when I realised the Tooth Fairy wasn't real. And that was tough. And I do think about that often. And I do think that was like a pillar in my childhood. And maybe, you know, I don't know if I can talk about it. But it was just something so beautiful about just getting money for nothing. And I think the world is a twisted place. And I wish I could just... I mean, doesn't actually do that in Les Mis? Doesn't she pull her teeth out and sell them? I don't want to do that. Anyway, but it is like, the internet is... It's kind of scary and sinister, and... Yeah, I think we're in a... How many times am I going to say this? We're in a really weird time. Clearly. We're in a really weird time with, like, feels like... It's I think what's so, I think... difficult, technologically, thank you. You didn't tell me I got there in the end. What? Technologically, thank you. We're like moving so quickly. Another terrifying thing, AI. I never want to talk about it. I actually refuse to like even do any research or find anything about AI because like I don't want to know. I just don't want to know. And my phone updated like 2 nights ago and it was like, we've added Apple Intelligence. Turn that shit off so quickly. I've never gone into my settings so quick in my life. But we are like making so many advances technologically. First time, no worries. But then culturally, thank you. Culturally, it feels like we're in wartime. It feels like we're in World War Two. And I mean that with full sincerity. It feels like we're in World War Two. And I mean all of it. All of it. Every aspect of it. Even that one. Even that one. Everything happening in America right now, it's giving World War Two. Anyway. And so I think it's just really like, uh, like, what do you mean? Like, there's going to be like a, and also I think this is something I've always struggled with, in my personal life and also in like just normal life, is like when something is happening that is so big and so scary and so daunting and so new, good or bad, but also like time does just actually keep going. I think I definitely had it when my uncle died. Like, again, I was really, really young. But, like, the truth of the matter is, like, life just, like, even though you feel like everything needs to stop, it's not going to. Like, days will continue to go. And so there's just, like, I think it's weird when you put it in a context of the world. Because it's like, there is this absolute batshit stuff going on. Not only in America, also in fucking Gaza, which is still going, by the way. Like, people have stopped talking about it, but hey, that's still going. And then there's so much more. If I fucking list all of them, we'll be here for 6 hours. But all of that's happening, and then at the same time, like artists are still dropping music. And it's incredible music, and a lot of the music that is coming out is kind of topical and relevant. But, like, I love Noah Khan to pieces. I really love Noah Khan. Huge Noah Khan fan. Friend of the show, Noah Khan. And he released a song yesterday. And I haven't listened to it yet. And I love Noah Khan. And I think it's because it's just like, what do you mean that things are still happening? And it's like, this is absolutely no hate. Like, in the same way that I'm sitting here and I'm fucking posting this and I'm filming this, I literally said I'm doing this to be a distraction and to be something light in all of this crazy dark. But that I think the reason why I'm maybe struggling to do this as well as you usually do, which I will say today's going much better than it did yesterday, is because my distractions aren't working for a bit. And I'm not saying distractions in the sense of like completely take yourself away from these situations. I think it is so critical and important that we stay up to date and we stay educated, because if we don't, that's how those weird little freaks on the internet get into our head and convince us that the earth is flat. So, like, let's just, like, keep on top of things, please. Thank you. And so I think what's important is while staying on top of things and staying educated and staying focused on what's happening in the world, and so that you can, move through it in the right way, it's also important that we don't go crazy. And so it's also important that we watch silly little videos and we have silly little conversations and we drink silly little drinks and we listen to our fun songs and we listen to things that move us in a way that doesn't move us in that huge of a way. Like, there's something so beautiful about putting on a really sad film about love and like just sobbing about, what, like, I don't even know what to like suggest, but putting on like I a couple of weeks ago was listening. I don't know if I mentioned it. Maybe I didn't. But I was listening to Sufjan Stevens, and like I was listening to Carrie and Lowell. That's like one of the most depressing albums you've ever fucking heard, and I wasn't depressed. But sometimes it's okay to kind of synthetically feel, like, to like purposefully be like, I'm gonna engage with this thing to make myself cry, to just get it out of your fucking system, rather than, I mean, if you need to cry about something, but sometimes I think it's almost healthy to just go, right, let me just get all of this out my fucking system so that I can continue on. And I think it's the same with laughing. I think we need to laugh, especially in these times, we need to laugh and feel happiness and remember what happiness is and how it feels and how laughing and humour feels. And I think right now, literally just, I have a routine that I have every day. I was away for a few days. I had the best time ever, but my distractions aren't working right now. And so in my moments of peace, I'm going, oh my God, what the fuck is actually fucking happening? What's happening? Is this crazy? It's actually batshit crazy. And so I think maybe that's why I'm finding this a little hard. But this has definitely gone a lot better. I've also actually want you all to know that I ordered food and it said it was going to be here ages ago. So what that has accidentally done is meant that I can actually film a full episode. But also what it has also done is made me incredibly hungry. I don't know if I have a recommendation this week. Let me think of a recommendation. I've been trying to listen to an album a week. I say that. I've done 2. And we're in week 4 of the year. The album I did this week, which I knew like a couple of the songs, but I just didn't know all of them. And I hadn't listened to it like full from start to finish. To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick Lamar. And God, that's really good. Weirdly, like the main song I knew from it was You, because it was on this playlist that somebody I used to follow on Twitter made years ago. And that song's tough. But really fun. I was listening to it while I was travelling and I was like, yeah, great. And so I want to do, I think, a new album every week. And the album I did before that was Carry On Low by Sufjan Stevens. And so the vibes are all over the place. I don't know what album I'm going to do next week. I was thinking, is her name Samia? Yeah, Samia, who did Pool. But I've seen lots of people saying really, really good things about her album called The Baby. And so I might listen to The Baby. There's another album she had released. Bloodless, I think. So that might be one. If any of you guys have any music recommendations, then please hit me up. I know some of you messaged me some of my friends, because I put Pool on my story and said, please send me some of these songs, and you guys did, and I have not looked at all. No worries. Do you know what I have to recommend this week? Bring back game nights. Great game that I've been playing, inspired by friends of the show, the Smosh Games channel, is Flip 7. Flip 7 is actually really, really good. It does deserve all of the fucking hype. It's really, really good. Oh my god, another thing I did, I found like a really, like, I don't know how it was, but do you remember Pixie Hollow, the Tinkerbell game? I found someone has like made it, like kind of like when Club Penguin got deleted and then someone made their own Club Penguin. It's kind of like that, and it was Pixie Hollow, and God, it was so gorgeous. I think that's it. This is my recommendation of the week. Do something you used to do when you were a kid. Mine this week, I'm going to be playing Pixie Hollow, except it wasn't very good, so maybe I won't. But I'm going to do something else. What else did I do when I was a kid? I used to do so much arts and crafts. Maybe I'll do some arts and crafts this week. Maybe I'll do some embroidery. That's something I used to do when I was a teenager. I think all of us need to be doing more juvenile things. And I don't mean like stupid. I mean like, let's do finger painting. Let's do some finger painting. Let's do some chalk on the pavements, you know? Let's go climb some rocks on the beach. No, because actually that was another A&E story. I'm pretty sure. Did I go to A&E that time? I don't really remember the story of that. And you know when like your siblings have a friend, and I think it was a neighbour, and then like you're just kind of forced to hang out with them. And so I was hanging out with Jay and this person whose name I do not remember, but he was around a lot. And then I fell. And I did in fact hurt myself. But again, that was probably on me and not my brother, so sorry, Jay. And you probably took the brunt for that. But it was probably on me, because I was an idiot. But no, I think, what else I used to do as a kid? Maybe I'll ask my mum. What I used to do as a kid. I think we should all do something this week that we did as a kid. Oh my god, something I actually might do. I found the Professor Layton games on the App Store, and you can get Professor Layton on the app. So I might play some more Professor Layton, because that was my entire childhood. I'm talking Nintendogs, all of these, like, yeah. Let's do something for us. Let's do something for Child Does. Also, I'm actually going to do some proper research and look into the Chinese New Year, which I've brought up like 6 times now. Friend of the show, the Chinese New Year, the Year of the Horse. And I will come next week. I think that'll be in time. Or maybe the week after, I don't know, because it's the 17th, I believe. And I'm going to talk about what I'm doing, because I feel weirdly, I've never in my life really followed the Chinese New Year or done anything for it, but I want to this year, which I would feel would be stupid to ignore, because why would I care suddenly? And also it's the Year of the Horse, and I was born in the Year of the Horse, so I just have this urge to take it seriously. And so I think these are two things that are going to be coming up is me doing personality tests. Maybe I'll do that next week. And then the week after I'll talk about the Chinese New Year. Hey. Also, if you actually have been listening to this on the audio version, sorry the audio is rubbish. You guys asked for this. You guys said, please, 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 Tabs, please put it on something where I can just listen to it. And I went, hey, so you've watched me speak into a wired headphone microphone for like 45 minutes and you want that? Audio only. That's on you. I will be looking into getting a microphone, but one thing at a time, okay? I managed to get it on streaming platforms and that was a hassle enough. Baby steps. For now, this is homemade, this is rough and ready. And so the audio is this, but you literally asked for this. So I'd like to hear no complaints. Thank you so much. Anyway, I'm actually going to call it there. I'm actually really happy that I did this. I need to stop putting so much pressure on myself. This is what it is. You guys know what this is. It's me chatting shit. And so I've set this camera up. I have no makeup on. I never have makeup on. I'm saying that like that's special. But I've fresh out the bath. No jewellery. And this is what you get. And there's a helicopter. Oh no. That's not good. Also, is it a full moon right now? Oh my god, it's a full moon tomorrow. Guys, we can't catch a break. Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you all so much. This means a lot. I love doing this. I'm going to get sappy. I'm going to keep doing this until it makes sense. Maybe, who knows? Maybe you guys will listen back in like 2 years and be like, this is what this used to be, and it will have like a theme and guests and a producer and a director. Who knows? Who knows? For now, it's me in my bedroom with this. And that's a beautiful thing. Isn't that just a beautiful thing? Anyway, big love, guys. Have a great week. Good luck with this fucking full moon. I don't know what it's in. None of you care. But good luck. Hope you have a great week. Bye. Bye. Love you. Bye. Bye. Love you.